Good evening, Dr. Jens. This is my project on Daisy's Linguistic Autobiography. Ancestral language. Between the ages of 4 and 5, I lived in Mexico where I was exposed to Nahuatl. Nahuatl is an indigenous language that originated from the Aztecs who lived in the 15th and 16th centuries. My grandma from my dad's side speaks Nahuatl fluently, but does not speak any Spanish. My dad and his brothers speak Nahuatl among themselves. So if we take a look at the map, right beneath where Puebla is at, there is a city called Olinala, and my parents are from a small little town that's actually called Temalacatzingo, and it does not come up on the map. It's a really small rural town, but it's 45 minutes from Olinala. Exposure of language. Growing up, I spoke very little Nagual, but understood the language. I knew how to say things like good afternoon, how are you, what are you doing, yes, no. I did not keep up with the language because I was not exposed much to it, but I would hear my dad speak Nahuatl, and I used to be embarrassed of the language due to negative stereotypes that people had. For example, other Mexicans would call us Indians or Oaxacans, which would express some colorism or racism towards the brown people. Nahuatl linguistics, the TL after the vowel and the final marker as the TL is pronounced like a silent L. For example, like the city in Mexico, Tlapa, clusters are treated as single units. Nahuatl has vowels A, E, I, O, U, and some unique features that I thought were the glottal stop written as H. And so with the example of the lapa, we can actually say the TL with the back of our teeth, TL, and then we hear it come out of our throats. Languages that I spoke. My primary language was Spanish, but later on I learned English in kindergarten. At first, the language was very challenging and I struggled with articulation, pronunciation, vocabulary, complexity. Now I speak English 90% of the time, but I prefer music and TV shows in Spanish. And I do find that TV shows and music and speaking Spanish has more meaning. And whenever I communicate with friends or my siblings, we speak Spanglish because it's just easier for us to understand each other, and jokes tend to be a little bit funnier in Spanglish. Living abroad. So I lived in Japan for 1 year in 2017 and 2018. I did not pick up the Japanese language and only learned the yes, which is hi, and thank you very much, which is arigato gozaimasu. After conducting some research, I learned that Japanese uses the single object verb order and the practical words like ga and wa and and has some multiple suffixes that are not added to root words to convey meaning. Dialect. I speak primarily English and grew up in the valley. The words that are used in the valley are like and hella. For example, like I told my son to go to bed and he doesn't listen. Another example, I ate hella pizza last night. I consider myself heterosexual and have not noticed a huge difference in languages that are spoken by other sex groups, and most of the people from the valley, including myself, speak Spanglish to better connect. Language representation. Language is such an important part of life because it helps us understand each other, but it is also important to who I am. I am 100% indigenous according to Ancestry.com, so I would like to get back to my roots to better understand the language that my ancestors spoke and the culture they had. I believe that Nagual is a unique language that holds so much meaning despite the negative stereotypes that people may have against it. Prejudice on languages. There are so many prejudices against language that are foreign. Although there is no official language in the United States, people still make negative remarks against people who speak Spanish and get offended when people speak it because they don't understand it. There are also negative remarks on the English language when people do not use the correct grammar in their dialect. For example, I be late sometimes, which people may think that it's improper and it's not using the appropriate grammar. Thank you for listening. These are my references that I used for my assignment. Thank you.